Ritali
Hello.
Utomo.
Hey, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, great.
Very good, thanks.
We're
We got
happy.
new music
How's
out.
life going?
Oh, it's going good.
That's pretty good.
We just released new music.
Pretty good?
We're fizzing.
Yeah.
Yeah, in New Zealand we say
Okay,
Pie.
talking about your music. Drax Project, what it stands for.
Wow. Start the very beginning of the band. That's how we got our name. It was drums and saxophone. Drax.
Yeah.
That's how it started.
yeah.
Drax, saxophone, and it's all about jazz.
Yeah.
So what's your, do you really miss busking anyway?
Wow. Yes.
Yeah. So,
It's been a long time, right?
It has been probably like 5 years since we busked. It's really fun because it's just basically a party.
And no pressure.
No pressure at all. No one's bought tickets. It's pay if you want to. It's a donation more than anything.
Most people don't, but some people do.
And also just playing things on the fly. Like, it was really good practice. Me as a drummer was really good to just do that
Okay.
for 6 hours every day.
That's great. Okay, you're a classically trained band mixing elements of jazz, funk, R&B, and pop. Do you think this gives you an edge?
Maybe.
I guess so.
It helps.
It helps writing music,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think not being confined to anything.
Yep.
Any particular sound. We just can make whatever music we
We try
like to listen to.
to
We
draw
try-
inspiration from all sorts, all
Yeah.
corners.
And because there's 4 of us, that creativity gets multiplied 4 times. So
Wow.
it's pretty crazy what
It's
we can.
actually exponential, yeah.
To the power of almost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Just
Okay, so you described your sound as hip hop influenced musical pop music, and does it help creatively to have 4 different voices coming together?
It
Yes,
can help and
yes.
it can also hinder sometimes, but at the end of the day, we're all just trying to make the best song we can.
It just means
Yeah.
things take a long time to get finished, but what gets finished is probably better than what it was when we started.
And
I think.
we all hear different things.
You'd hope.
Probably.
Yeah. we all hear different things, you know, we all have different tastes and you know, different kinds of attention to detail. So yeah, good.
Okay. So if I'm asking to you, who are your biggest musical influences?
Matthew?
Oh,
I'd say as a band, Justin Timberlake.
Justin
Okay.
Timberlake. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. He's up there.
He's a good guy.
It's
Good music.
so hard because there's so much music I like, but what are we influenced by?
Individually, should we? We've got you. You've got the collective one there. Let's go around individually, and you can say what you're listening to at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, I love like John Mayer.
John Mayer.
Slamming John Mayer, yeah.
What is that?
He's an artist from America. He's like a singer-songwriter, John Mayer.
Why is that?
Why?
Why? Sorry.
John Mayer.
Obviously, you know John Mayer.
We have a lot of influences.
I like how his songs remind me of like home and quite
At
nostalgic.
home. Okay.
I've been listening to an artist called Dijon at the moment, who is like, I don't even know what kind of music you'd call it, but I just think that the songwriting is really interesting. So that's been my inspiration at the moment. What about you, Sean? Into a bit of Bach?
No, I think the last thing that I really got into was Kanye West album, and I don't know, that's still hanging around in my head. Yeah.
Kanye West, John Mayer. A good mixture.
Yeah, it's a very eclectic mix, if you will.
You talked about home. Who's your home? Who is your home?
Who is my home?
Oh, you just got,
Where?
a little puppy.
Probably have to be your wife.
Was this a question for me? Yeah. Wow.
You talked about home.
You brought home up.
I'd say probably my wife and my dog.
Your wife and your dog. Okay.
As wholesome as it gets.
That's as wholesome as it gets.
Which is
Wow.
which?
Yeah. Which is.
Wow.
How about you, Sam?
Well, who is my home? Well, I'm gonna get shredded if I don't say my girlfriend.
Ooh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
your mother.
The bass would be the home for you, though.
Yeah, honestly, the low frequencies, that's my home.
That's where you
anything,
live.
Bass guitar.
anything kind of below 250 hertz.
That's quite low.
Yeah, it's quite low.
It's getting up
It's a
to
very-
my territory there.
But if it was above that, if it was only above 250 hertz, then I was probably like I do go above sometimes.
He's talking musical theory,
Yeah.
Below,
technical
yeah.
stuff now, so we've lost him.
Sorry.
Yeah.
He's gone home already, yeah.
Okay. And talking about your songwriting process, can you give us an insight into your songwriting process? Who writes the lyrics?
Oh yeah.
Good question.
I think all of us actually contribute to the lyrics a lot. Ben probably writes most of the guitar stuff. Matt does most of the drum stuff. Sam does most of the bass stuff. But we sometimes,
Swap around.
yeah, Matt's played guitar on one of the songs in the EP. Mad at You. I think it's Matt. You're playing the guitar on that song, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So we in the studio we kind of just do everything. Whatever we think is a good thing to do, we try to do it.
And
Not like life.
often with lyrics, it might be one of us comes in with an idea. We might have 2 or 3 lines, or somebody has a melody with no lyrics, and then somebody has an idea of something that they want to talk about and write lyrics about, and so they say, "Oh, what about this line?" And then we'll all put our ideas into that situation, or we'll explain the context of an idea that we want to write about, and then everybody goes away and figures out what they could bring to that. So yeah.
It's collaborative.
Okay. Talking about your music, would you like to tell me, each of you, your favorite song, and then what's the story behind that song?
Wow.
Okay.
Sean.
Our favorite song of ours, like just ever, or
on the EP?
On the EP, probably. You mean?
Your song.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Should we go Ben?
There you go, Ben.
My favourite song on the EP is Fashion Sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why?
It's just,
Slaps.
I just love how it sounds. It's a song, there's like few songs of ours that I like enjoy listening to, like I don't really even,
Because we hear them so much before we.
yeah,
put
you
them
never
out.
put your own music on, but like, I really enjoy listening to that song. The day that we wrote it was, we met it was the first time we'd met some people, these producers who were called Some Randoms, and a guy called Sam Fisher, and they'd become really good friends of ours. It was just a really fun day. It was a big vibe, and I just associate that fun time with the song, and I just love it. Yeah.
Mine would be Love in the Morning because I love.
That's a great song.
Mornings.
Thank you.
Loves love.
I just love the overall feel of the song. It feels quite nostalgic, early 2000s. And it's really fun to DJ to, like, put a song into a DJ set.
Yeah.
If we're confining things to just off the EP, then my favorite song would probably be Hollywood.
Okay.
For multiple different reasons. I love playing it live. It's fun. We wrote it on the same day that we wrote our song Catching Feelings, which is also like a really cool song, and it's taken a long time for us to get it right. But I'm just so stoked that so happy that we've finally gotten it there.
Yeah.
If we're not confining it to that, then it would probably be a song that hasn't been released yet, but I won't talk about
Probably
that.
the same.
Unreleased.
I guess I'm left with 2 other songs. I'll go.
What's your song? What's your favourite song?
Just like any of them, even including the ones you guys
Off the
said.
EP.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And why? In 3 or less words.
3 less words.
Crazy would be yours.
And that's it.
Yeah, no, not
Thanks.
crazy. Now, Mad at You is actually a dope song. I love Mad at You. It was born from a voice note that I don't know where it came from. It was
Years ago.
Years ago. It's like this voice note that was in Matt's phone. That I sent Matt, and we were hanging out with our friends like on Zoom like this. This one of our friends, her name's Maddie, and yeah, we just started trying to put lyrics to this melody. The melody, it was just a melody. It was da 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 And it was just such an awesome melody, and it was stuck in my head for so long, and it was just really nice to put lyrics to it and finally turn it into like a really beautiful song. I think it's like,
Okay, if we're talking about jazz itself, sometimes it's dismissed as an inaccessible or described as the musician having more fun than the audience. What do you think about that?
That's probably true a lot of the time. Like, it's one of those things that you kind of have to potentially, like, bebop. This is not all jazz, but like bebop jazz, which is probably like, I would say
one of the more
What's
difficult.
considered like jazz.
like, wow, this is jazz.
Yeah.
Technically.
If you listen to bebop, it's kind of hard to understand what's going on unless you've tried to do it yourself.
It's because I think that may be
very
the reason
complex.
that some people think that it's inaccessible is because it is a language. You learn a language. You learn, these notes go with this chord, or I can play these notes over this chord if I want to give this sort of sound. And yeah, it is a language and a communication that, unless you study it, it can be quite confusing.
Yeah. And unless you're around it all the time, like back in the day when that music was popping off, like when bebop jazz was like really taking off in America, like it was around everywhere. People were listening to it a lot, and so it's more understanding. It's like if you listen to a lot of music in a language you don't understand, you don't
probably learn the language.
Yeah, exactly. You'll probably learn the language, but if you don't listen to it very much, it sounds completely like you don't know what's going on.
But then I think that in a more modern context, and it's starting to, or it has been happening more and more over the last 20, 30 years, is people are taking their knowledge of jazz music and applying it to other genres or like other musical situations outside of what Sean's talking about with straight ahead kind of jazz, which is...
It's almost 100 years ago where that stuff was popping off. That's crazy.
Whereas I wouldn't consider us jazz musicians. We have a jazz training background, but I don't think any of us now would say that we are jazz musicians, but we use our knowledge of jazz and our experience in it to apply to what we do with pop music. So I think that
do a lot of like pop writers do these days, like a lot of hip hop and R&B.
Yeah, I think that's the strongest way that jazz is used. It's more of a information that you can use and a skill that you can use to make better music.
Okay, one more thing to ask you. You've done a lot of collaborations, right, with some musicians. So in the near future, do you want to do some collaborations more with a certain musician?
We'd love to, yeah.
Well, we have a good wish list, don't we?
Who's that?
Wow, Justin Timberlake again would be one for me.
Imagine how good that be.
That'd be awesome, eh?
I wrote one down the other day, was Lucky Day. I thought that would be quite a cool one.
Even like Craig David. Do you remember his old music? Craig David.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's such a banger.
It is.
That would be a nice song to collaborate with that artist with.
Kimbra.
Oh, Kimbra.
Yeah, she's from New Zealand.
That would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, anyone.
We're very open.
But you've done it. You've done with Halsey, right?
We did
with
it.
Haley
Haley
Steinfeld.
Oh, Halsey Steinfeld. Oh, yeah. I see.
Halsey would be
Halsey
really
would also
good.
be
Put her
great.
on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we could keep talking about this for hours. Probably.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You have a lot of lists, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Very long list. Okay. So thank you everyone for your time.
Hey, Kantamuna, we're Drax Project. You are listening to Geronimo FM. Love, Jogja, and you.
106.1 FM.
The real sound of Jogja, Geronimo FM.